Hey everyone. Welcome to another fine, and exciting edition of the Wicked Wilds Campfire Tales. It's the start of Camp Wicked Wild, so we thought we'd start this off with a banger. On the main show a couple days ago, we talked about uh the cabin in the woods. So I thought let's talk about another shack in the wooded area of an abandoned hospital and have some fun with it, shall we? Before we get into it, let's introduce the gang. Um, as always, we got Jeff. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad. I'm pretty excited to see what you got going on this week.
Jeff, can I ask you a question?
You can, yeah.
If you were a hobo, what city would you live in?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones out there for
Mhm.
hobos, I hear.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably want to go where there's some money, right? So maybe
Yeah.
LA, it's nice and warm, you know.
Oh, I like that. I like
And
that.
that's probably what I'd say.
I'd be a hobo in Disney World.
As if Disney World would let you even
I
step
was going to
foot in
say, not
there.
for long.
Whoa. Sounds like you hit a nerve there.
I,
I meant as a hobo.
I would I put on the mouse ears. They wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know. Also joining us tonight is Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Was funny when you first opened up this podcast and you had a moment of pause of whether or not what they have around this qualifies as woods. Like you seem very withholding of that definition. So.
Listen, unless they're in the title, I don't know if I can give it to them. Hey, Dave, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
If you were a hobo, would you be one of those hobos with the sack over your shoulder, or would you just carry an old Aldi's bag full of all your shit?
I can promise you this. If I was a hobo, I would be a hermit. You would never see me again. I would be up in the woods somewhere, living off squirrel and
Oh,
chipmunk.
a wood hobo. Okay.
So I would not need a bag of anything. I'll put it that
Yeah,
way.
hey, I dig it. The elusive wood hobo. I dig
Exactly.
it. I dig it. Also joining us is Jamie. How you doing, Jamie?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
Jamie, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why are you so angry about hobos being in Disneyland?
I'm not angry. I just know
Like,
that Disney World will not let you step foot in. Maybe Disneyland.
I mean,
World ain't letting you in.
hobos can't ride. It's a small world. Is that what you're saying?
If they're gonna pay the like $1,800 entrance fee at this point to get into Disney World.
What if they can make balloon animals out of old paper bags?
Disney World doesn't have clowns. So I don't think
Wow.
it gets them very far.
Wow. So Disney hates clowns. Wow. Okay. Well, that's more you know about Disney, right? Also joining us tonight is John. How are you doing, John?
Pretty good. I'm here ready to learn, Eli. Ready to learn.
John, can I ask you a question?
I mean, everyone else has said yes. If I said no, it would feel offensive.
No, I'm gonna ask you
so
anyways.
go ahead.
Hey, in your young hobo days, were you the type of hobo that would go into all the McDonald's bathrooms, or did you poop in alleys?
I mean, it depended on the time of day because like certain McDonald's lock their doors at certain hours. So
I'll be honest with you, who've ever been in a McDonald's bathroom, there's not much difference in an alley.
that's 1,000% fair.
There's heat though, right? No one wants to poop in the cold.
Basically the same thing. I mean,
Yeah. It depends on where your alley is, but yeah. I mean, if you can get into McDonald's, yeah, you poop in a McDonald's.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Respectable. Well, so I guess we'll after you've all heard it here, our hobo ways. So I suppose we should get into the tale we're talking about tonight. Tonight I thought we'd talk about what some may call a tale of a living lore that developed within the last, like, I don't know, 40, 50 years, that also has a side plot about hobos. And everybody knows why we're talking about hobos. Tonight, we're going to talk about the tale of Cropsey. And what also blows people's mind is we have secondhand knowledge of the event. I think that would count secondhand knowledge because Jamie's mom was around there.
It's Cropsey.
What?
I was gonna say, where are we going with this?
Wait, are we about to like blow up because like we did one of those like Howard Stern used to do where he interviewed serial killers? You have them call in.
It's like I'm like the child of Andre Rand. Is that
She just like pulls on her hobo
Spoiler.
outfit.
Yeah.
Was this Cropsey guy like? Did he have a melted face?
A
'Cause,
melted
like I
face?
googled Cropsey, and there's like all these pictures. It's like there's The Burning, 1981. It just says
No.
Corpsey.
Mm.
No, he's just a regular. Well, Eli will explain.
So to answer your question, Jeff, some people who claim to see him after all this stuff went down that still claim to see him. Some say he either wears a white mask, or he's disfigured in the face, and it looks weird. Some people say you can't really see his face because of all that hair.
So he wasn't. Okay. Then I googled something wrong. Something fishy going on here.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk about Cropsey here. So I will give a little bit of a I figure we'll hit the main tail first. We'll hit the main tail first, then we'll get some Jamie's secondhand knowledge, and then I figure we're gonna get into a little side plot. Some people claim is the real truth, because that's how we do it here. We get in the down and dirty in the mud and pull out the real truth and bring it to the light. Would you say that's accurate, Dave?
On the record?
Yeah, on the record.
Yes, absolutely. We get to the Mole King truth. That's how I'll define it.
You know what? I appreciate that. So everybody, Cropsey is an urban legend of an escaped mental patient who had a hook for a hand, who hunted children and dragged them back into a tunnel system that he claimed as his own, that laid underneath the abandoned ruins of a sanitarium and a children's hospital house in Jamie's backyard of Staten Island.
I thought you were literally saying it was my backyard, but yeah.
Wait, was your
No,
was
but
your
my
backyard?
mom. But my mom and dad both lived right. It was their back. It was right near them. So, but no.
I would have not bought that property if I was their parents.
I mean,
They bought it
the real
before
estate,
the
right?
fact.
The real estate agent was like, "Well, Cropsey lives right over there. It's a up and coming neighborhood for serial killers. If you guys like to make an offer, these
And they
houses are
weren't
going fast."
they're not on Willowbrook property. They were
You know what?
blocks away.
I would watch a show about Jeff selling shitty properties, like where there's serial killers or ghosts and stuff. The way he presented that, I was like, I could buy that.
Like, that sounds good. Like it's going fast. Everybody,
He
you
said
better.
it's going fast.
But I like
I
this.
better
Just
get it.
let's keep putting me in it. Let's just pretend that
Yeah.
let's pretend I was even alive at the time, because it was early 70s.
Right, because I was going to say you're about 83 years old, right?
Hey, I'll just put it on the record, Jamie. This literally happened in Jamie's backyard, this whole story. So, that's why it touches home, this one. Touches home.
Yeah.
So, what's kind of crazy about this urban legend was this came off of what I would call relatively recent compared to the other stuff we talk about. Back in the 70s and 80s. Depending on who you talk to, if you go with what some may call the story that's actually based in fact, we know who Cropsey was. He was a man who worked in the children's, they called it a state school, Willowbrook, as a janitor. Now, the funny thing about Willowbrook, it may have been the worst school in the world. And before I even get to the bad stuff, just so you kind of know what kind of place we're dealing with, Andre Rand was a janitor for them, who 4 times was caught just randomly taking a group of children out of the school to run errands and do things before he was fired the 5th time. He was a janitor that would just take kids out to run errands, not involving the school, 4 times. And then the 5th time, they thought that was too much. The 4th time, he was charged with kidnapping. And they waited till the 5th time to let him go. just to set up this place. Now,
fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yep.
Fool me 3 times, shame on God.
Okay.
Fool me 4 times, shame on the government.
I just, you know what, Jeff, I want you to sell this to me because you sold them bad homes real quick. I mean, how if you run this place, how do you sell? Like, listen, I know this guy's been charged with kidnapping a couple times. Really good janitor.
Right, Eli. I mean, you of all people know what was going on in this place. I don't really think like
Yeah, but you figure the police was involved in that. Like they should have
the
saw
police
something.
weren't in. Oh, you mean his charges?
yeah,
like,
when
They
Oh,
were
God,
involved
yeah,
in his
yeah.
janitor work.
Yeah,
Is
but
that what
No,
you're
like
saying?
when they charged them with kidnapping.
Okay.
You know? But so and now, if that shocks you, this place was a terrible place. This
The
institution,
school? Is that
yeah,
what you're
the
talking
school.
about?
The school was
Okay.
terrible. It was built as a
Did-
institution to help children.
Did they make corn cob peanut butter bird feeders?
How dare you? How dare you? Listen, I have
I
talked.
wouldn't be
Then
surprised.
it wasn't that bad then.
Listen, I've talked to one other person who did something very similar to that.
No, nope. There was
Mary-
no corn cob. There was no corn cobs
Right.
involved in the
well,
other.
yeah, fair enough. Mary said they didn't use corn cobs, but they just did the same thing, just one step removed.
What's
Like
the one
give
step?
bird seed to
Yeah.
birds. Yes, we've all done that.
Birds
Well,
eat out.
peanut butter. They made a peanut butter birdseed ball. Instead of us making a ball, we just put it on a corn cob. There was corn on the corn cob. You know, they ate the corn. You know what? I will not be blasphemed and backed in a corner because I fed some birds some peanut butter, birdseed, and corn cob.
No, I think on the official record, you fed a ditch on a country road some bird seed on a corn
Damn,
cob.
birds can't go ditches.
I bet you Cropsey led those children out with corn cut with peanut
Probably.
butter on corn.
Well, if it was in my school, we'd be like, oh, it's just craft day again.
Oh,
Yeah, they had
Come
to go
on,
get
boys and
popsicle
girls.
sticks.
we're gonna make some corn cob bird feeders today.
I
I
like
imagine that's probably how he talks, right? Like,
Can I
"Hi,
just-
I'm Cropsey. How are you?" Okay.
I thought at first you said caw like he was a bird.
He might have been. Maybe
Be
he's
sure
Birdman.
to bring your popsicle stick abacus.
Make sure you bring your abacus. We need to count today.
We haven't even made it like 10 minutes.
Hey, listen, you know all the time. We're just like maximum overdrive. We go full steam ahead.
How do you spell Cropsey?
The
It's
CRO.
SEY. I think
Yeah,
that's probably what's
SEY.
on you.
Oh, okay. Because there's a whole bunch of other things for this no E Cropsey.
Now, as soon
And
as you
he
put
seems-
E in, you'll get
He
him.
seems pretty cool.
But
Just saying.
the no E.
Yeah.
Is he
He's-
also a serial killer?
He's in the top 50 best horror villains. He's like is The Burning or something like that. 1981. It looks
Yeah,
like he
The
was
Burning.
melted
Yeah.
basically. Like, yeah.
Not different Cropsey.
Yeah. Well, I'm disappointed. So continue.
Somebody was stealing somebody's thunder. It sounds like. I don't know which one. We'll decide. But anyway, so this school was a school for children to help children. Had a terrible reputation. A lot of people called it living hell, because there was rampant sexual abuse, corporal punishment, severe overcrowding, unethical experimentation because they were testing hepatitis drugs on, and very highly unsanitary. In the 70s, a young Geraldo Rivera, who that dude's a dick, hate that guy.
Wow.
It's
That's a little
Geraldo,
hot.
but
Yeah,
I was
okay.
gonna, why'd you say Geraldo?
I think he did it on purpose
I
from
did
the
it on
sound of
purpose.
his.
I don't care. I don't care. For, listen,
Sometimes I don't know. You pronounce things differently.
Listen,
Geraldo Rivera.
this guy like went into the school. There was like no workers, people just laying in filth on the floor and like that. And if you can watch the videos of him doing this expose journalism, and like obviously these people don't know daylight from dark. He's like, "Hello there, I'm John Rivera from the 7 o'clock news. Is it bad living here? What's going on?" And they're just like, And he's like, let's go talk to the next one.
Did he call himself by his wrong
He
name?
exposed the whole thing. Like, let's give him some.
But, hey,
like,
he exposed it, forgot about it, then got his daytime TV show
Forgot
where
about it.
he was one of the big satanic panic guys in the 80s. And like had like every other episode was Julie's son was playing D&D. Next thing you know, demons are coming out of the toilet. Yeah,
now I know why. Now I know why you hate him so much. I get it.
Bless
now.
Bless his heart.
Straight
You know,
up
he saved so
clown.
many people with that.
Listening to the rock and roll.
Have you heard of the new satanic art Metallica?
I don't think he ever said that.
Nah, probably not. But he was big D&D. He had a TV show for a couple years where like it was like he was to the Satanic Panic what Mari Popovich is to
Popovich.
what do you say his name? What's his name? Mari what?
Mari
Povich.
Povich.
I'm calling him Popovich.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Mari Povich is to baby genetic testing or paternity test.
DNA test there.
Yeah. So he went in there, exposed it in the 70s, right? Like 73. Everybody was outraged for like a day because then the place stayed open for another 10 years and finally closed in 86. So he did a really good job exposing Jaime. Geraldo Javera did a real good job. He don't deserve to have his name said correctly.
And they also like did this in American Horror Story, right? In the asylum season.
Yeah, they kind of did, but only
It was a Geraldo, but didn't she come in and expose it or something?
Yeah, but like they actually went in and closed it right after. Instead, like in this story where he did it, then the next day he was like, "You want me to do a TV show exposing Satan in board games?"
I mean, it's a mental health facility. It's not like you can just lock the door and walk away.
Yeah, there's
there's a process. Now, 10 years, I would say, is a stretch.
Are we sure it's 10?
70. He did his expose.
72 is right. That's what my mom said. Yeah,
and they closed it in 87.
You just said 86. Now it's 87.
I checked my notes. I was off by 1 year. It's 87.
So it was 15 years.
Whatever. Yeah, time's irrelevant. So now, during this time it was open, a bunch of children went missing. And then some children went missing after it closed. Well, one little girl went missing. And in their investigation process, the police found that the janitor, Andre Rand, who had a history of taking the children out of school, had built himself a shack and was living on the grounds of the abandoned hospital, state school thing. And then shortly after, they did find one child buried there. So they charged him with it. He was going to be released on parole in 2008 until they found him connected to 2 other missing children, and he is still currently in jail, alive. But after these events occurred, ever since he was arrested, people have still claimed to see a man with a hook for a hand, terrorizing children that would go, because apparently, like,
where did the hook come from in this?
Yeah, I was gonna say he has a hook hand now. Like, was
a bunch of people who saw him when they would go, like a bunch of kids that would try to go to
a pirate.
They would, yeah, maybe they would claim to see him with a hook for a hand. Like these kids that would play around there. A lot of them said that he would come out like a sewer tunnel system out of the school and chase them. Like people like, well, he's in jail. And they're like, no, there's a guy out there with a hook for a hand chasing us in the woods.
Lost it in a mop bucket accident.
Like he was trying to ring it. And
got stuck in that thing that they ring the mop out with.
But yeah, there was tales there's still tales today where people claim to go out in the woods and see him. People thought it was Rand. A lot of people kept saying, "Oh, he must have escaped. He's chasing us." Then they're like, "No, he's in jail." Then they're like, "Maybe it's a ghost of one of the patients." And so then he became a ghost for a while. Then a documentary came out, and now some people say that he's out there saving kids and stopping them from doing immoral acts. The one article I read in the woods around the abandoned school. I'll let you use your.
Well, part of that property is the College of Staten Island now, so I don't know where.
So how does a Cropsey afford a PR firm to come in and try and?
I don't know.
Yeah. Just for anytime you hear us random laugh, it's because Jeff changes his background.
That looks like me. Like 30 years. When I try to
Jeff a little bit.
This is Eli. I'm coming to you from Campfire Tales.
Oh man,
this guy's like the poor man's Hagrid. He looks like
Yes, yeah.
he is, or like Dumbledore because he got glasses.
Sad Dumbledore.
Yeah, sad Dumbledore. I like it.
Severus.
But yeah, so he's gone through many tales. He's still there.
It sounds like Slender Man. I think we had a similar conversation about him, about them trying to redo the image of the lore.
Well, I
It's
kind of wonder, Jamie, since you said like part of the college there, I wonder.
think college, because I asked my mom what's there. Like I said, well, what happens? And she said that's where College of Staten Island is. Like as if I was like, oh shit, yeah. So
I kind of wonder if maybe that
we
wasn't
could
like
Google
something
that.
people started saying to like, so the college wasn't like, yeah, we have a ghost serial killer in our
I can guarantee there's a
backyard.
building of the college that's probably quote, and I'm using air quotes because I don't believe in it, but haunted. I guarantee whatever building is built where, that was. I'm sure
they're
has
like
some
sometimes if you look, there's a hooked man trying to log into the computer on floor 4.
He gets upset because he keeps hitting the caps lock.
He's making bad searches without using incognito mode.
We have so many viruses. Oh,
And I have a hard time typing with 2 hands. I can't imagine how hard it'd be with a hook for a hand. Like,
what if you put one
I
of
can't
those,
do it
like,
with these nails.
like yeah, I'm right. He calls IT. He's like, why the K key came off my keyboard again? They're like, dang it, Cropsey, it's stuck your hook again. Like,
if I was in that situation, I'd get one of those like foam fingers put on the end. So that way you can type and you don't poke the
it
key.
just says Cropsey #1 on it, and he's like waving it around. Like,
You know what Cropsey needs, it sounds like? He needs himself a plushy hand turkey.
no, yeah, there you go.
We could
See?
make him one.
We could sell him
Slide
one.
right over there.
Surprised Eli didn't try to conference him into this call right now. I mean, he's sitting in prison doing like nothing.
I wanna do a disclaimer quick. That dude was a horrible monster.
Yes.
Piece of shit. That's why we make fun of his shit. Props, like it was all shit. He's shit. Anyways, but back to it. Do you think? I don't think he'd go for the plushy hand turkey. He lived in like Staten Island. Like, do you guys have a bird or something?
Do we have a what?
Like I don't know, a bird you're famous for?
Do they have birds?
We actually have. Wait, there's a turkey problem on set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
a plushy hand turkey works. It's all
Did you just-
connected.
Are
not
you
joking.
implying that every city has their bird mascot? Is that what you're? You said that like, well, what's your bird mascot?
Well, like,
Wait,
you know,
don't
each state
states have a
does.
bird?
Yeah.
States have birds.
each
so...
state has a state
Oh, but
bird.
Staten Island, I guess.
So, Jeff, what is the bird of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, like I'm not sure.
Would it be a parrot because of the pirates?
Just stop.
I mean, ours is obviously the pigeon. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
No.
Oh, that's the best. But yeah, before we get into what like there is a camp that say this isn't the full story. There's this whole side story I can't wait to get into because it involves one of my subjects that just keeps coming back to Campfire Tales. Before we get into that, yeah, Jamie, your mom was around during this. What did she have to say
She
about
was. Let me pretend like this is gonna help me read. Okay.
it? Okay.
Let me bring up her email. It's very short, but I did ask her because she was around, and they did. Both my parents lived around there. My parents have been together since high school.
Please tell the
Yeah.
correct story. Your house was actually in.
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
property?
We lived in the backyard.
Yeah, thank you.
I had a shack actually right next to
Oh,
Cropsey.
Awesome.
Borrowed
awesome.
sugar from each other.
Oh wow, nice. Awesome.
So
Was it hard getting his sugar cup with like when he hands
His
you on his
hook?
hook? Yeah.
well, yeah, he would keep punching holes in it, and by the time I got it, it was
I
like
feel like
half
it'd be
empty.
easy. He would just hook that thing right on the little handle
No,
and
it came,
scoot it around.
shooting
there.
out, came shooting out like a cartoon. Like there's like a little hole, and it just like.
I'll
squirted
get you
the
some
whole
sugar,
way.
matey. And he hooks the thing.
I like how he's a he just committed him being a pirate.
I mean, what else would you call him? I mean,
Okay.
you know,
So let's see.
he hangs around the
So-
Staten Island ferry and he has a hook for a hand.
You're right. He's
Uh,
right on
I'm
water.
Yeah, the water. We're surrounded by water.
Yeah. See, he's a
We are an
pirate.
island. Okay. So I asked my mom just for a little bit, like what it was like being around there, because she did live very close, so close that like, again, we're talking the 70s, that like when Geraldo shut it down, like did his expose, my mom was there like outside watching. Like there's groups of people like watching.
Dude,
And
why
she
he
said
was
there
in
may
there?
be a picture somewhere, but she would have to ask my grandmother. And
Wait,
it was
like
just-
why he's in there talking to people
when he
like
was
an
outside,
asshole?
when he came out, like I think he did
Oh,
like a thing
okay.
outside.
Of course he did.
So I because
Mhm.
that's what she said. So let's just like I can like read without like reading and boring everybody. But like so first she told me about where it was and stuff, which I don't really need to. But in relation to where my grandmother one of my grandmothers still lives and where my other grandmother used to live. So my mom and my dad actually used to hang out on the grounds in the woods a lot, like near there. So much so. So this is like the interesting thing. Well, so like what it was is like the bus stop apparently used to be right next to it.
His shack?
No, the bus. Oh no, next to the woods.
Oh, okay.
So they had to they cut through there a lot to get to things. So they would cut through the woods also because there was a ball field on the other side. So they use, like anybody does, like you cut through, So anyway, so they also, this is something she can't quite remember. And I find this sentence very interesting, but we used to go into one of the buildings at Willowbrook. I don't know how they got into one of the buildings. They said that had a bowling alley downstairs, in this dark, dingy. And all I'm thinking, I don't know if anybody's seen Girl Interrupted, but they were at an asylum with a bowling alley in the basement. If you remember that. So in my head, that's what this is. So anyway, she said she has no idea if they were allowed or they snuck in. I'm going to say this, but she said
to bowl.
Yeah, to bowl. Yes. My parents are high school sweethearts. To bowl.
Love bowling.
So this is though something that for this conversation, what I do remember, and this is exactly what this says. What I do remember and will never forget were the sounds and the smell of the entire area. People, children screaming, moaning, crying all the time. It was a horrible sound. And then there was the smell of urine. It permeated everything in the whole school area. It was a smell that gagged you.
But they would go in there and bowl?
They would go.
Wasn't that that's most bowling alley smell of urine though? I mean, you can't really,
I guess, but who?
I've never been in a bowling alley that didn't at least smell slightly of urine. So.
Yeah, but who wants to bowl just here?
I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, so that's so they lived right near us, so they were always around it. They were, she goes through shutting it down, and then I'll bring up Cropsey because I did ask her something. But so he was there in 72, like you said. He shut it down. I remember the crowds, the TV cameras, watching the show on the air. She might have a picture of it all, but she doesn't think she has it in the house. My grandmother might. It was only then that they learned about everything that was going on. Same things you said. They were using these kids and adults as test tubes for various test subjects for various diseases. And then, she said same thing. It was set up. She wrote for intellectually challenged, but kids that they now know don't need to be in a separate, home or school and could be educated at home or different ways.
Might just be low functioning autistic.
So what it was is the parents just institutionalized them instead of putting them through normal classes and things that they, so now we're not mentioning names, but she remembers when a lot of those children went missing. When she was in high school, it's all really anybody could talk about because that's I guess when it started. Some of them, the ones in the asylum, I guess my mom would have been or out of high school. She might have her timing a little wrong here, but so the ones that stuck with her though was the one, and I think it might be the one that you said that they found her body because it was 87, and that's a big deal to my mom because I was then 5. So now, and my sister was 3. We were both born. So now, you're seeing children around, your daughters, I mean, it was already traumatizing, but she's this stuck with her that she literally wanted to go join the search and do the stuff that they were doing, looking for the girl, but also we were children and my mom was a stay-at-home mom and needed to stay home and be with us. So, they formed a group around the girl. And she says she thinks actually that group is still around to this day. And then they were searching the woods all around their house, my grandmother's house. Then she's actually also they found his campsite. Here we go, his shack. They found his campsite near there, pictures of him in the papers, and he looked like he was crazy. No shit, Mom. Thanks. The documentary, she hasn't watched it. You could tell me. She said that the documentary, I watched it, but I watched it a long time ago because my mom's cousin is in it. But she said that they leave you wondering, right? Is that what you're going to go into? If he's the right guy.
But you know what? I appreciate your mom writing this in, but you know what I'm really confused about, and I want you to ask her.
Yes.
So in high school, she heard about the missing children.
Yeah, which I think is a wrong
she
time
said
frame, though,
it smelled bad, and you could hear. No, they said they were missing while they were in the school. It smelled bad. And they could hear people wailing, but they would go in there to bowl.
I'll ask her. So yeah, she did confirm in a follow-up. Then I asked her, was Cropsey ever a thing you were afraid of? Was it a boogeyman? Was it anything? You lived right there. Was this something? And she said, no, they always believed he was caught in the 80s. They believed it was him. and that they were more concerned with Son of Sam when they were younger, and that
I guess
was
that would be
never,
around the same
she
time.
never, she never heard of Cropsey till they made a documentary. Like she never heard the fake name. Like she knew who
Okay.
he was. She knew Andre Rand. She knew about the kids that went missing. She knew about the, the kids that were found and all that stuff that had died, but nothing like no boogeyman or like,
I'm wondering if
like
she
that.
pushed it to the back of her mind so she get that perfect 300.
I'm gonna get that trophy.
Sorry, that's a little like disjointed. I'm reading off an email that I did not memorize, but I was trying to leave out some things, so I was like jumping around without like.
No, I appreciate it. I just really want you to go back and ask your mom, like,
I'm
okay,
gonna
all
text her
this
right now
stuff
for
was
you.
going on,
Yeah, I'm gonna text her.
but you would still go in there to bowl?
Yeah, I'm gonna text her right now. Don't worry, keep going.
Like that blows my mind. But
But yes, my parents lived like right there. My grandmother and my Jeff. I can't take this.
yeah, you find out from your mom what that point that was, or what that point of them going bowling when they knew all this stuff like crazy stuff was going on.
When you were talking, you said they went in and they were on the grounds messing around, and like you meant like the grounds, like the area around.
The woods,
I thought you meant they were like on the ground in the woods. Like I was like, what are they doing on the ground? I was like,
on the property.
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, I'm not as sharp as maybe some people, so I wasn't quite making the connection here.
So now that we got through kind of the story, I thought we'd get into what some group of people believe. And it's all going to make sense why at the beginning I was asking everybody hobo-themed questions. Because believe it or not, everybody, this is also a hobo story.
I somehow don't think it's going to make any sense, but go ahead.
Or maybe it'll make perfect sense. So there are these sewer tunnels that run under the grounds there and under this school. And apparently there was a large hobo population that lived underneath them. Some people actually believe that many of like the adults and children that like they would let go, but if like their family didn't come get them, they would just go live with these hobos underneath there.
Well, there were tunnels underneath, yes.
Right, in these tunnels. Okay. One story I read, they refer to it as, and I quote, Hobo City. Under these tunnels.
City?
A lot of people believe and speculate and say they have evidence that these hobos were actually the ones that was also taking these children, whether because they wanted children or like they wanted to use them to work in the tunnels, or maybe for more nefarious reasons, and believe that the reason the Cropsey tale keep going and these things these people are saying, the person with the hooked hand, is not actually Cropsey. It's one of the hobos that's been doing this.
I can't get that.
Does he I'm assuming he denies the whole thing, right?
Who?
Yeah, what does
Cropsey.
he say?
Like,
Rand?
what's
Andre Rand.
his? Yeah.
He apparently, like what I was reading, he was like kind of quiet and like it seemed like the trials were pretty quick. I don't think he quite had the mental capacity to defend himself much, because apparently before the first trial, that was something they looked into.
Did he have a defense? I don't mean him. Did he have a defense team? I mean, like, it
was
just
sure
like a trial?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
assigned.
get that, but I meant, okay, but I guess I meant, did they have a defense? I guess not.
If they did, this was pretty quick. So, I feel like when you're dealing with children, the defense is like.
Well, I mean, that's a huge public thing too. So the public outcry, there's a lot of pressure to find somebody. There's a
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen my wife watches a lot of like crime.
So do I.
Whatever. And like there's a lot of times where like they'll say the police did all this stuff incorrectly or whatever, and so or but then the police are like, well, that didn't happen. Because it's a weird thing, but then you only get the whatever side of the story that they're going to cover anyway, the whole picture. But I mean, it's not unheard of for that kind of stuff to happen, and
right.
Or if they're in a situation like I said where it's a public outcry for them to find somebody, this guy had already kind of been convicted of doing whatever, so it's an easy target.
Like when I was looking at this, all the evidence Definitely point at him.
Really?
A lot of it, yeah. Because I mean, like I said, the one victim was buried like right outside his shack he made.
It's like,
Well, I mean, that's kind of yeah. Like,
and he was fired 5 times or whatever. Fired
Yeah.
once,
Yeah.
written up 5 times.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 times. Like it was not good, but yeah, a lot of people actually think the true villain of the story is the hobos, and what people are saying when they see Cropsey in the woods is not like it's Cropsey, but it's not him or like a ghost. It's these like hobos that are running amok and like run Hobo City.
who's the mayor of Hobo City?
Do you think it would be the guy that people are seeing with the hook hand?
Possibly.
Well, of course.
I mean, 'cause
he's
if
not
you're-
in
Whoever
jail.
has
He's
the
not
most
the guy in
candy, that's
jail.
the mayor.
He'd
Well,
be.
we did
He'd have a
learn-
hard time going out and shaking hands with the public though to get votes.
Well, yeah, but I don't think
I mean,
I feel like for Hobo City, you don't really get votes, do you?
Yeah, there's not a standing democracy, I'm assuming, in Hobo
well, they got a
City.
mayor. I mean, how else do you elect a mayor?
Well, I feel like he was like, I have a
Well, yeah,
hook.
they're hobos, not savages. Well, like,
Yeah, but he's probably just like, I have a hook. Or maybe to Dave's point, as we learned in the Candy Lady episode, they use candy as currency. Maybe it's whoever had the most candy.
I think this was a little after the candy currency epidemic, right? This was in the
You don't think they still use
Seven.
candy as currency?
no, that was in the 40s and 50s. That's when they used candy. 30s and
Well,
whatever that was. I don't know.
what would they replace?
Why do we have such a factual tone?
Well, because it is interesting, right? What do you think they use now, then, Jeff? If they're not using candy,
Probably I don't know. I mean, not food, that's for sure, because they're hobos. So
I have a correction, by the way, and an
Uh-oh.
update. Yeah, well, it's because thanks, Mom, for writing emails nonsensical.
Wait,
I
she's
asked
about
her
to answer
why.
why they would do the bowl.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
boy.
I asked her why, and she just wrote, "LOL, I have no idea. We were young and cheap." So, but
it
I
was
said,
the bowling alley in the institution.
here,
Is
that's
that what it
so
was?
yeah. So that's what I asked because I said, but you said you heard it and you smelled it and blah 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 blah, but yet you kept going bowling there. And she goes, she said, no, that was just being in the area, driving through, walking through the woods, waiting for the bus. That's when like all those smells.
Okay.
and
So the
screaming-
bowling alley
so
was
it's
by
from
there. It was out by.
yeah.
Got
So
it.
all
Got
those
it.
smells and screaming and moaning and blah blah was coming from the buildings. Don't know
Got it.
yet where the bowling was, but it
They
was
were-
below ground.
But they weren't bowling in the hospital.
They
Got
were
it. That's what-
bowling somewhere under the like.
Wait, do you think is your mom Cropsey? Like people are like this is personal hook and it's really just her and her bowling equipment. Like she's
Yeah,
got her out to go bowling.
She's got her bowling shoes in her hand. It's like a hook.
like curl at the end.
Yeah.
Oh man. I
Anyway,
feel like we should have had your mom jumped on be an
we
extra
should
guest.
have called her in. She's
Was she-
available right now. Do you want me to?
Was she of no, I don't want to embarrass her when I'm like, why would you go bowling if you knew children were missing in the area? And it smelled bad. Like I mean, just point. Bowling alleys always kind of smell like a little bit of pee. But like I feel like that's
Also, to her point, they were dumb teenager. I mean, come on. Like,
What else are you going to
also,
do?
nobody knew this was going on until Geraldo.
yeah,
Like,
but I feel
so you're
like
talking,
if I'm
like-
in an area where I hear crying, screaming, moaning, it smells like pee. I'd be like,
It,
probably not an area I want to be in.
it's New York, man.
It's Staten Island. It's a lot different than New York.
Stuff happens.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so actually, so if you go to Staten Island, maybe the real fear is this hobo army that's grown in
That's
Hobo
living
City.
underground in the tunnels.
Yeah, in Hobo City
It's Us,
versus them.
the movie.
Us.
Oh, I
Yeah, but
thought
they
we were
weren't
gonna start talking
hobos.
About the mole
So-
kingdom.
It went from a city to an army now.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming if they have a city, they probably have an army.
Why would
Of
they?
course. Again, these factual tones that we have.
Because what happens if someone tries to kick?
So now all cities have armies and birds. They're like
Duh.
Seems pretty reasonable to me.
I'm not sure you know what the word city means.
All I know is,
100%
like, if you have a whole complex hobo ecosystem, like you're not gonna want people to come and just kick you out of your tunnels you've been in for 50 years.
How complex does a hobo ecosystem have to be?
I bet you it's pretty
So-
complex.
Did police go into this hobo structure?
I'm sure they had time when they were searching, but then like they kind of found Rand and realized it was Rand, and like I don't think they care about the hobos anymore.
Got it. But the people that still believe it is or was the hobo,
They say they're still
were
there
the hobos.
in the hobo tunnels.
No one goes down there though.
I mean, would you If you thought that there's a hobo
I
there with
would
a
not,
hook hand.
but if people thought that there were hobos stealing children down there, I mean, someone should go.
No, it's just like okay, there's tunnels over there. There must be hobos, or have people actually seen this hobo city?
No, people,
or is it like El Dorado? You know what I mean? It's like the mythical city of
the lost city of hobo.
Yeah, or like Atlantis. It's sunk beneath the Staten Island.
Staten
You
Island.
know what I mean? Like,
apparently, what I was reading is like they do know that
maybe it
hobos-
is Atlantis. Do we know? We don't
Beneath
know.
Staten Island.
Yeah, it could be Atlantis. Where nobody knows where Atlantis went.
You're thinking it's just
Welcome to Atlantis. There's like his hobo guys in there.
there's like a hook.
Yeah, he's
But no, I mean, people do know there's hobos there. I guess people have taken stuff to like the tunnel entrance. They're not. Apparently, they don't let people come in. Like some people said they've gone there to help them, like organizations. They won't let them go in the tunnels for their protection or for the hobos' protection. You know.
Do they welcome the
hobos-
newcomers? Like, can I?
yeah. Like, what if I'm a hobo and I want to go in?
Yeah, can I?
Well, I mean,
join
I'm
their
sure if you're
community?
I'm sure if you're a hobo, they'd let you in.
What if you just dressed up like a hobo?
I
and
feel
then
like
was
they
a-
would
and then,
know
like-
the difference
like-
between like a hobo and like I'm just dressing up like a hobo.
How would they know?
They probably
how
have
would they know the
hobo
difference?
sense.
How about how about on Saturday when I'm going for lunch/dinner with two friends I haven't seen in a long time on Staten Island? I asked them if they want to take a trip to Woolsey.
Yeah, be like, hey,
and
do
we
you
just
guys
try and find
wanna
out where the
take a-
hobo tunnel.
You want to take a walk down to Hoboville?
Let's do it.
Whoa! All I know is though, if you do that, don't blame us for whatever hobo stuff happens.
Don't blame us.
Yeah, you
Hobo
know,
stuff.
like if you get a hobo chasing you with a hook hand, I don't want to be like, why'd you guys make me do this?
Wasn't that Predator 2? The Predator lived in the hobo village.
Pretty much.
But then he killed a bunch of hobos.
I think so. Yeah. Was that set in New York or was that Chicago? I don't
LA.
remember.
It was L.A.
Yeah, it's all the same for the Predator. You don't care.
Slightly different climate. That's it.
Eh.
Oh, I kind of like. Well,
What
you
if
know
the Predator was Cropsey? You know,
he had a hook?
did it? He had the
Yeah, two
claw.
hooks.
Yep. see?
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
a question then, kind of on that tangent and bringing it back to what we're supposed to be talking about.
Hobos.
No, Cropsey.
Oh.
Are there so besides the documentary and
Mhm.
beside which is about Cropsey and I guess Andre Brand and other theories and whatever. Are there any current horror movies that were you think based on Cropsey?
I
as,
know
like,
they've
a-
done some like low
maybe
budget
change
stuff
the
on
name or
him.
something or
Yeah, like I think like any movie you see where you have a killer ex-patient, because a lot of people. That was the other thing too. Like another little theory that doesn't really have much traction. Like there's really not much evidence for this. A lot of people thought he was a patient that escaped. Was killing people and like they never caught him. He was just like running around the woods. But like, I mean, I feel like it's Staten Island. Those woods can't be that big.
I mean, Staten Island's big, but no, the cops will find him. I mean, I don't unless he's in the tunnels with the hobo. I mean, I don't know.
So then he's a hobo. He's not an ex-patient. Well, a patient.
Well, he
turned hobo.
became. He's when they close the facility, he becomes homeless.
You
So
talk
now,
about hobos like it's this exclusive group of people that you need to like do all this.
Listen,
Like,
I
I don't think it
watched-
takes much to become a hobo.
Listen,
to be honest,
I,
with you.
I watched an episode of Law and Order SVU with
Oh
Mary,
God.
and it was about hobo people, and like they were talking about how like complex a hobo ecosystem
I
is.
guess. A
They did,
society.
now, did they call
Is it
them
an eco? I don't think it's an ecosystem.
Well, did they
Like,
call
that's
them?
not- I think that's the
hobos?
right
They call
word.
it the hobo ecosystem. But I'm trying to become.
I guarantee you they didn't call them hobos.
But I'm trying to be on the forefront of this field, so I'm trying to make it sound,
Okay.
you know.
Trying to reclaim this term.
But apparently, it's very complex. They have like their own languages and like bartering system and like pecking order.
Languages.
Yeah.
Hobo speak.
What?
Yeah.
What do they speak in hoboese?
Well, like they have like their like, each group.
be, like,
when they
shorthand
have these
or
groups, they
something
have
of,
like
like-
this like language, you know. That way, like cops and like
It's
home
like
people
gang
can
language,
hear.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
a gang
kind of.
code.
Yeah. So like that's going to Law and Order SVU. Now, did I look up to see if how real that was? Maybe.
No.
No, you didn't. I
No.
guarantee you didn't.
I didn't need to because why would Law and Order SVU lie to me?
That's true. That's true. Why would that? Everything is factual on that show.
I mean, when it's
100%.
written by a guy named Dick Wolf, you gotta believe it.
It's on tonight. I just
Uh-oh.
got those shows
I quit.
Bananas.
I quit watching it because there's only that one episode with hobos, and I didn't see any more. I was like, well,
What's the point?
what's the point?
Not a lot of hobo themed TV shows nowadays. You know?
Odd, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Or like a lot of hobo characters. I feel
No,
like the
there's
word
a lot of-
hobo is not really.
But like, aren't
Yeah.
hobos once again? Aren't they different than homeless people? Right? Because like homeless
Yeah.
people are housely challenged or whatever we call them nowadays. Isn't that like?
Well,
Like
those are
that's
people on
different than a
bad.
hobo, right? Like a
I
hobo
feel-
is like
I feel like hobos are people that choose to live that life because like there's that religion we talked about in the call.
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Cult, yeah.
Yeah. And like I think the hobo's in their name. Well, no, I think that's when Dave told me they didn't like to be called hobos. Like,
Yeah.
They keep calling hobos
Yeah.
anyway.
I think we're being pretty fast and loose with a marginalized group of people that may not be choosing to be that way.
Well, I'm not
I'll just
saying-
say that.
listen, I'm not qualifying the people that don't choose to be that way as hobos. It's people that choose those
Oh,
ways.
this is only people who choose to be that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well,
So-
then, for that matter,
According to that
Cropsey
religion,
didn't choose to be that way if he was a patient and kicked
well,
out of
he
the-
wasn't a patient. He was that janitor.
I know, but
People-
back to the
people
other
think he
theory
might be a
where
patient,
people
yeah.
thought
Yeah,
he was
but-
a patient that.
Listen,
What if he was a patient? Like it's in jail where you have a job, right? So,
I was thinking.
you know what I
that
mean?
he's
What if he's
working
just like,
while he's-
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
why would they give
He's
him
on work
access
release
to drive vehicles?
Why
I
did they
mean,
do half the
'cause
shit
it was
they did
the-
in this
the
place that got
60s,
closed
right?
down?
Like,
You know
yeah,
what?
like what?
That's a fair point, Jamie. That's a fair point. I
They're testing on poor children. Like what?
I think we've
Yeah.
accidentally backed into the scientific method here. We need to move quickly.
Yeah, I think
We're getting way too close to logic.
I don't think the janitor with the van is really their biggest concern. You know,
You know what? That's a valid point. Maybe I am looking at this story at the wrong angle. You know, maybe I am looking at this with the wrong angle.
if nothing else, you're looking at the wrong end. That's for sure.
But I just, man, when I saw that, like, because that's like of all the theories, the main, largest, most accepted, most factually proven is Rand. The second biggest theory is the hobo theory. That's what I'm calling it.
I'm just saying that the margin between those two theories is pretty wide. It may be the second most popular one, but we're talking
But there's
87-3.
I would say we're more likely
fact,
talking like
and then
90,
story, complete
90
fabrication.
94-6.
How many theories are on your list there, Eli?
The main theories are
fact.
Rand. Well, the actual fact is Rand. Then you have the hobo theory. Then you have the patient theory. Then you have the ghost theory, which
Ooh.
you know. Then there is a theory that because around this, like this was towards the end of like the serial killer era in New York City, like we had all like the heavy hitters in that area, that maybe there was one that wasn't caught, and then like this event happened, and it kind of shifted the view off him. But like, there's really no theory or not a lot of evidence to support that.
So we're going with hobo.
Not a lot of
theory then.
evidence to support any of them except for the
Anything.
factual.
Why,
mean,
like,
There's
why
a
does
ton-
everybody just tack a ghost on anything? And any given like mystery, like at some point, somebody's gonna be like, "It was a ghost that did it." Like, you
People
know,
are
like, what-
stupid.
Well, you know what? So Jeff and I were looking up haunted places in PA, and we found this town that claims their whole town is haunted by a ghost
Mm.
for one reason. Because all of their pets in the area, even when someone's not standing directly next to it, will lay on its back for belly rubs, and they think the ghost rubs their animal. And like,
Shut up.
like honestly, this is a town, and like you can go talk to
What-
people.
What is the name of this town so we can?
I don't
go
remember. Do you
smack
remember,
the mayor
Jeff?
and get him to fix this?
No, I don't think we talked about the town because I was like, I'm never going there. So
Yeah, like I don't know if I don't remember the name of it, but it's
Wait,
just
I
like
would
small-
love to go to a town where animals just lay on their back for belly rubs. Are you
But
kidding me?
but for a ghost,
No, for the animals that are laying.
yeah,
their
but
belly
like the
rubs.
ghost is rubbing their belly. Like you don't want to be like putting your hand on ghost hands. Like what is this,
I don't
Ghost
give
or
a
Patrick Swayze?
Jamie doesn't need that as an excuse to pet a pet. She's gonna.
Better pet them all. I'm gonna push that ghost right out of my way.
I don't think you know the ghost rules.
I'm bringing Cropsey with me.
Oh, what are the ghost rules?
Yeah.
Oh, there are many ghost rules. Jeff, do you want to tell them about the ghost rules?
no, because I refuse to acknowledge your ghost rules because they're stupid. You made them up on the spot.
So you know, Jeff and I do our podcast Lord Master Absurd, and we were talking about the Sixth Sense, right? And we were discussing some of the finer points of the ghost stuff. And you know, Jeff was talking about stuff, and I was like, well, obviously he doesn't know the ghost rules, so I educated him on the ghost rules. He finds my ghost rules ridiculous.
I'm sure they are.
The soundproof logic, I think they're proven, to be honest with you. Like everybody knows ghosts can't open a door.
There's no such thing as ghosts, so how
To
could they be proven?
honest with us,
How
they've been
dare
proven.
you?
What do you?
How dare you
lying?
come into the
So-
Campfire Tales
Sorry.
So
and claim ghosts aren't real?
I still don't understand why that girl couldn't just push the videotape down the steps.
Because the
I don't.
door-
I don't understand.
You can't open the door.
That's nonsense. Nonsense. She
Ghost
can
can't
push a
open the
video. She can push a videotape from under the bed, but she can't open the
No
door.
door
Okay.
under the bed.
All
bro.
right. You
No
know
door
what?
under the bed.
Well, I know I've had a ghost experience. That's all I can say, and I think John has too. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
when we get into ghosty stuff, we'll.
You
Were
don't
they-
want me there because I
were they
do not-
hobo ghosts?
there's
Jamie's going to
believe
point
them
and laugh at
all.
us.
Yeah, I will. I'm sorry. I'll point.
Jamie just
well,
likes the one ghost that makes the pets roll over for bed.
Yeah.
Pet ghost.
You make me wait. You know what? I believe this from you though, because your backyard was in Cropsey.
Who are we talking to? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I believe that you don't believe in ghosts. I mean, your family was willing to have their backyard in
Yeah,
Cropsey
we
town.
lived with Cropsey, so you know.
All the
whatever.
hobos walking by with hooked hands, children missing, going bowling in the abandoned asylum. That's a story I want to tell. That's a story I want to tell.
Too bad I didn't actually live there, so I can't tell you.
How far? Okay, your actual house. If we're
No,
gonna
my real where I grew up is on
Where
the
you-
complete is like the so Willowbrook's kind of middle island to North Shore, and I'm the complete South Shore tip, like
you ever
basically
go
in
there?
New Jersey.
when you were a kid, like,
Well,
when you were a kid, did you guys still talk about like, oh, don't go to those woods?
so I think once I got a little bit older, I did want to go through College of Staten Island though was built there. It's not very exciting because like you have like a college campus like in that area.
should
Like,
give you
it's
easy
not-
access to the woods then.
So is
I
there-
didn't. I don't think I did. I can't remember. I don't think I did.
Is
How
the
many
bowling
square
alley
miles
still
is
there?
Staten Island?
How many? I don't know. We can Google. I'll tell you.
Yeah, is the bowling alley still
I
there?
don't think it's not
I doubt
terribly
it.
big, is it?
So is there any like remnants of like a monument or like maybe not a monument, but like is there anything
It's
there that they
58.5
talk about him?
square miles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Small, yeah.
yeah. To Jeff's point, Jamie, is like,
Yes,
is
sorry,
that is that still a big thing there?
Like
is
is there any type of like I don't want to say like attraction because that sounds kind of
No,
positive, but
I
is
don't
there
think
any
so,
like there's
no.
no like
I mean, there's
remnants
still
of-
the area is still called
Yeah.
Willowbrook because that's what it always like. The school was called Willowbrook, whatever for children,
Right,
or something,
right.
because the area, the town is Willowbrook, the
Okay.
county, whatever.
is the
it is.
building still standing?
No, unless it's one of the colleges. Why did you not look this up? Unless it's a College of Staten Island building. Let's see.
Oh,
Because
she
I
got
was
you
there.
She got you there,
Because,
didn't you?
let's be honest, we all know what happened, right?
Too busy making up ghost rules.
I did not make them up. I'm not proving. Everybody knows what happened. I was looking into this, and then I saw about hobos, and
And
I
you started going in
Went
different
down
directions.
That's sidetracked.
Okay, well, guess what, guys? I'm on the Wikipedia for the Willowbrook State School.
okay.
Okay.
We'll find it was
Yeah, it's
So,
the College of Staten Island.
guys,
so-
it was open from 47 to 87.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah. And Dave just said it's the College of Staten Island, right? Now?
So that's like built over
Do
the
they
whole thing.
use any of the building? Yeah, because it's a college. I mean, I can't
It-
again, it's,
the
a college
side.
of Staten
It's a totally
Island,
different
but-
building.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
if they would want to use those buildings according
No.
to your mother, which made your all of Staten Island stink like pee.
Yeah, it probably had, I'm sure they just tore that shit down.
I'm just wondering if
Okay.
the
That's why
the school still smells like pee. Like,
Probably it's the College of Staten Island.
But it is.
I was gonna
it
say,
is
you know,
still
do you
skirted.
know anybody that went to that college?
I
Like,
do.
it's like, yeah, like, hi, how are you?
I mean, I also went to college on Staten Island, but I went to
No,
St.
the
John's.
college of Staten
I went to
Island.
St. John's. Oh,
You should just ask your mom, because does your mom still live in Staten Island?
yeah, well, yes, they're moving, but yes, my parents
Okay,
live in
well-
my house. Yeah,
All right, right on. While they're still there, you should say, just hey, can you guys just drive outside there, just take a deep whiff?
they go. My grandmother lives still right near there.
Oh, did she say? Does it
She
still smell
lives like
pee?
behind
Well,
College of Staten Island.
You've been to your grandma's house. Does it
Of
smell like
course,
pee?
I've been.
still?
to my grandma's
Like when you go there, does it smell like pee?
No, my grandma's house does not smell like pee.
Not her house, but like the outside.
No, the College of Staten Island does not smell like pee.
Man.
Believe it or not, they cleaned it up, Eli.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm starting to think this is a very good story.
I was going to say, this is the part we've drilled down on for the last 30 minutes.
What, the pee smell?
Yeah, the urine scent.
Oh
And
God.
hobos that did not do this, and it was just a man.
Listen, all I know is Hobo's got that hobo strength, okay? Like
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, because you think about it, right, they live
We have
out
hobo rules, too?
in the wild. Oh yeah, everybody knows hobo rules. They live out in the wilderness. They're really like like they're. I wouldn't want to go toe to toe with hobo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are hobos
agreed.
just a cleaned up Sasquatch? Is that what you're saying?
I don't even. I'm not going to respond to that question with an answer. Not even going to do it.
They live in the woods.
You know what, Jeff? I'm thinking
They're
you and
strong.
I should go do a little investigative reporting. We should go to those woods.
I'll meet you there.
All right.
One, I'm starting to think Jamie doesn't really smell deep when she was there. Okay, I think she's taking shallow
She
breaths.
didn't take it all in.
No,
know?
you gotta like taste the air, Jamie. It's just not a smell. You gotta taste the air.
So now you're officially calling them woods, though, instead of wooded area.
No, it's a wooded area. But I think Jeff and I, baby woods. They're baby woods. I
They
think Jeff.
probably were woods until the College of Staten Island knocked down half of them to put buildings in. Now it's a wooded area in the
Well, we'll go
backyard
in the wooded areas, and we're gonna look for that tunnel.
Like my grandmother lives across from woods. I bet you anything those woods connect to where. Like I
Oh,
bet
so we
those are
got
the
it.
woods. Those are the woods. Like my grandmother's house across the street is still to this day somehow with Staten Island building houses everywhere across the street from her is still woods. So I bet you
Oh,
those are the woods.
this is
that connect.
perfect then.
Eli and Jeff need to go interview the
grandma.
woods,
Can we
interview
stay,
the oak
can we stay at
trees.
your
Oh my
grandma's
God.
house?
Of course you could. Yeah,
We
and
should-
cook you
Awesome.
old Italian food.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
nice,
Yes.
nice. Because you and I,
She
we can
loves when people come over.
we can stay there, Jeff. Then we can go in the woods, look for the tunnel. We'll bring a big bag of candy.
Oh, to lure out Cropsey?
Well, no, that's the currency if we run into
Yeah,
the,
that's the bribe of
Yeah,
the hobos.
They're still exercising the concept that all hobos use candy.
Hey,
as
well,
currency.
Candy is currency.
Everybody-
I'm just waiting for
I've
Eli
like
to
tuned
send
this out
out
at
one of
this
his
point. I don't
favorites.
even know.
One of his favorite candy bars, the Zero Bar,
Yeah.
and then get
They're like,
stabbed in the throat.
if you-
No,
Give me-
I'm not giving those out. I would eat those before we got into the woods.
Give me some information. I got a zero bar with your name on it.
I wouldn't give them 0.
You'll get hooked right in the neck. That's handing out them zero
listen,
bars.
I'm not even sure what we're talking about anymore.
It doesn't matter.
I-
Nobody
I-
nobody knows.
You weren't on the candy lady episode, Jamie.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I
well,
was. No, I wasn't.
Hobos played a big part of that story as well too. And we
Certainly
found
did.
out that a lot of people in town thought like the candy lady would leave candy on window sills after she stole children, right? But the whole town thought it was
Like Hansel and Gretel or
Kind of,
whatever. Like, is
but
it-
the
wait,
whole
like-
town thought it was because there's a train nearby that hobos were kidnapping their children and leaving candy because the whole town thought that hobos use candy as currency.
we also found out people from that time frame were dumb. So-
Well, yeah.
And for clarity, that is the folklore that Eli put together to follow up Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I did. The candy lady of Texas. It was in Texas.
Well, Cropsey is following Cabin in the Woods. So
He lives in a shack in the woods.
oh, okay. But
I heard if you watch the Chainsaw Massacre and look real close, you can see some candy in the background when you're watching it.
They stop at a convenience store.
Yeah,
What does all convenience stores have?
Well,
Candy.
Well,
that wasn't what I was going to say.
I don't think,
I have misspoken, and I apologize to Eli. Appalachian Haints followed Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Candy
he was on
Woman of
that one.
Texas
Oh.
was after the ruins, which makes even less sense.
Hey, what is the ruins based on? Nothing.
that really makes no sense.
Well, it was a movie based
Sorry.
on nothing. So I picked
Yeah,
something.
but okay.
I feel like we could have
Lan-
did like Hansel and Gretel or like, you know, like,
That old hash. Why?
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Why not introduce people to something new? A new fear.
yeah.
The
a
candy
new
lady.
fear of something from probably so long ago.
You know, and you're taking something people enjoy, candy, and making them afraid of it. Because if you find candy in your windowsill, you got
Who's
candy.
going to
wait,
eat it? Who would
sorry.
eat candy off their windowsill?
Are
Like, I don't-
there people?
I would.
Are there people? I guess I could just go to my friends' children. But are there people on Staten Island who still think Cropsey is like a
Oh
thing?
yeah, there's still like there. You can find like YouTube videos where people go through the woods and search for his ghost, or search for like who they believe the real Cropsey is. There are people that like. I think it's kind of turned more into like this like thing for young kids. Be like, oh, I bet you won't go walk.
Yeah,
through
no,
Cropsey
but
woods."
not those people. Not like what my friends and I did who don't believe in it, but just did
Yeah,
stupid
but then
shit.
and then you have those armchair detectives who like throw out theories who they think the real killer was, or like
That's the problem.
try
is
to
those
prove
people.
like these hobos did it.
oh, so you.
I did not put any comments on the YouTube videos. I just
Yet.
silently agreed. No. No, we all know. Listen, we all know it was Rand, but like,
Yes.
talking
but-
about a hobo city.
So are they looking for Cropsey or the ghost of Cropsey? Or is it a different ghost? Like
That's
somebody
two
else's
different
ghost?
theories. We're
They
not
think
paying
it
attention.
was a ghost of a patient.
Oh, I thought you meant like it was somebody thought it was the ghost of Cropsey. I'm like, is the guy
I-
still alive?
I,
Like,
I
what's-
did read that a couple times, and then follows shortly in the comments like, "He's still alive, dumbass." So, those people's
Because he
theories did
is.
not live long.
Got it.
Did
Does he
not
do?
live.
We
long.
went over this, I think, already, didn't we? Does he do interviews? No.
Nah,
He just sits in a. Do we know prison he's in?
no, I didn't.
Well, and I think to Eli's point earlier, I don't think he's functioning at a level
Yeah.
that he could do interviews.
Oh,
Yeah,
Or
he
do
was
them
not at
well.
all. Like, okay.
he was not what you would call intelligent or all together in his brain hole.
Oh my god, with the
Hmm.
holes. In his head hole.
This
Yeah,
is head hole.
In his head hole.
Brain hole. I don't think it was in his brain hole. It was in his head hole.
His
head
sea
hole.
Where his
hole.
brain is.
Well, wouldn't the head hole be the mouth?
It's his talking hole.
Where the
I mean,
ears.
like
I don't-
what
yeah, that's.
Okay, would the ears be the head holes then?
Those are the
Those are the
sound
hearing
holes.
holes.
That's your ear
sound
holes. What do you
Those are
like-
Sound holes.
Did you call him a ear hole or an
yeah,
ear hole?
what, hear hole. What do you?
Hearing hole. But Dave was right. It's a sound
Don't
hole.
you know how holes
Yeah.
work? You take what they do and then add hole after the end. Of it. Like
Your nose is your smell holes.
your smell hole.
I like
Yeah.
it. So then your mouth
Scent
would be
Your
your
hole.
mouth could be
scent
your
hole.
it could be your talk hole or sound hole or taste hole. It depends on your preference. So.
I like taste hole.
Yeah.
My
I do
God,
not.
what is this episode
I do
about?
not
And when
like
is
that
it
at
ending?
all.
Hey, listen, for Camp Wicked Wild, we had to start off the first one with just a descent. Wait till you see the other stuff I have planned for this
Jesus
month. I'm not,
I
I'm not gonna spoil it.
I
tell you
have
my
to miss
thing,
some. I think I'm kind of upset, but
What? I don't want to spoil it.
I have to miss next one.
Oh, next one's a good one. Next one's a real
Just
good
rub
one.
I'm
it in,
afraid.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, you're not going to be here? It's
Terrifier
awesome.
2 comes out.
Listen, next one. But you know what? The third one might be better than the next one.
I think I'll be on. I'll be at that one.
I listen. Let me. I'll give.
No,
people,
wait.
I'm gonna.
I don't
All I'm
know.
gonna do is I'm gonna give people 3 words. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna say them in a random order. Each word represents the 3 remaining episodes for Camp Wicked Wild.
Okay.
Boy.
So I'm gonna say 3 words. Okay. 3 random words. You're not gonna know which.
All
which is
right.
which. Here you go. Goat. Horse. Demon.
Cool. I'm in.
Goat. Horse. Demon.
Baphomet.
That's some real
Nope.
valuable information there.
They're hints. It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything with
Could be
those.
could
Yeah,
be a
it
horse.
could.
Yeah.
Could be a horse. Could be a goat. Could be a
That-
demon.
That would be a heck of a thing is if we got on here and just talked about horses in
Horses?
general terms for an hour and a half.
I mean, I mean, what do we really do for an hour?
Well, I was
Sorry
going to
about
tell you now.
hobos.
It's not a regular horse. It's
Oh,
not a regular
oh,
goat.
Okay.
Not a regular demon.
It's not a regular demon.
Not a regular
what does
one.
that mean?
You know exactly what that means. It's not regular.
Sounds like Sheila's going on.
It's
a few hot
constipated.
dates.
It's a constipated demon. Is that what we're talking about?
Maybe. Listen, all I know is I have a feeling Sheila is heavily involved in the goat episode.
At least one of them.
Yeah.
I'm, that's what I'm saying.
That seems up her alley. The goat story.
Could it be up her bowling alley?
Oh, how
Oh.
dare you.
Ew.
How dare you.
Drake! Somebody just bowled a turkey.
Wait, is it a turkey?
Yeah, that's
It's
when you
a-
get 2 strikes, so 2 or 3, right?
I don't know anything about
is
bowling.
turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Is it a plushy hand turkey for Sheila?
I should put that up on the screen when it comes up. Just like a blushing hand turkey pops up.
I
He
think
walks
I,
across.
Yeah,
I
like,
think a plushy hand turkey is when you go bowling. You get 3
that's
underneath abandoned
3
child
underneath.
institute.
What? Like what? Yeah, you better watch where you're going with that.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right with it. Yeah, you know. Hey, Hobos, am I right?
Yeah. Am I right? Come on down to Hobo Town.
Oh, I'd go so fast,
I know you would.
man. But hey, everybody! On that note, that was the first exciting Camp Wicked Wild
Was it?
Campfire and Tales episode. We I like to say this, take this time of year, to say, we this first episode here, we lived a little, we laughed a little, we loved a little, we questioned Jamie on the smell of pee a lot, but we did it as friends, and that's what you do with your friends. Talk about peace.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I thought what he was going to get to, we learned, allows to say, learned nothing.
Like,
Well,
that's
I mean,
it.
listen, every episode of Campfire Tales is chock full of knowledge that you people should be writing down.
Oh, it's chock full of something.
If you look at all the previous episodes we've done, knowledge that could save your life. Write it all down.
So what's the life-saving lesson from this episode?
Yeah, give us the bullet points. Give
I
me
can't-
the 3 points.
I can't
from
believe
this
nobody
episode.
brought up the fact that Cropsey could be Bigfoot.
I don't know if he could though.
There you
Why
go,
not?
Jeff. We talked
know?
about this
I'm
last
just
week.
saying, they
You're
could-
trying to disparage the good name of Sasquatch? Jeff, I don't know what your problem is, man.
No, Bigfoot's never been seen with a hook for a hand.
That's
Neither is
why.
That's the reason.
A
That's the
lot of
reason.
people say they see him with a hook for a hand.
He's still alive. Does he have a
He's
hook for a hand?
I'm saying the people that say they see him still in the woods now.
He's still in. He's
He's
locked
sitting
up.
there just
No,
looking at him.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but I'm saying what some people say.
Like, is that the rumor around the jail or wherever he's at? They're like, you hear that Cropsey guy got a hook for a hand. The guy's like, he's right over there. What are you talking about? Like,
well, I'm
like,
talking
They're
about
like,
people
I
that,
hear Cropsey.
yeah,
runs
like,
these halls at the end of the night.
yeah, like, no, he's locked up. He doesn't have a hook for a hand.
no, I'm talking about the people who, think that the real Cropsey's still out in the woods. He has a hook
The
for a
real
hand.
Cropsey.
Bigfoot doesn't have a hook for a hand.
Why was he called Cropsey? I thought that was like his last name or something like that. Like, is there a reason he was
You know
called
what?
I
Cropsey?
think Eli would teach
Now
us
that
that
you
somewhere
say
in this
that-
hour. And
That is a really good question that I did not think to look at.
Because like I googled Cropsey and there's like Zach Cropsey and all these like Cropseys came up and then you're like Jim Smith or whatever this guy's name was. I'm like Andre Rand. I'm like I was like his name wasn't Cropsey. Like what? Like
I'll be honest. Once
have
I
no
saw
idea.
that hobo theory, I went down a rabbit hole
Just glommed onto that, held on tight, and
because I
rode it
was
like a
looking
goat.
up other hobo cities, which apparently is a real thing. Like it took me by the way. But Dave, you said you want to know what the 3 valuable life lessons this episode were.
I did.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you the 3 valuable life lessons.
All right.
If you're ever stuck someplace with Geraldo Javera, don't trust him.
Geraldo.
Don't trust him.
Did you say Javera?
What's his name?
Yes, he's just doing. He's like just keep
Geraldo
making it worse and
Rivera.
worse.
Rivaldo Rivera. Don't trust him. Okay, that's number 1. Lesson number 2. If you want to go bowling in a weird bowling alley that's underground below an old state
In a
institution,
hospital.
and you hear crying, moanings, and the smell of urines in the air while you're bowling, that's probably not a place you want to bowl.
Are you picking on my parents now?
I am not. They're sweethearts. I don't know them, but they sound like just sweethearts. And lesson number 3, the most valuable lesson, I think.
Lay it on me.
If you see a guy builds his shack outside of an abandoned mental institution, don't trust him.
What if I see a faded sign at the end of the road that says 15 miles to the Love
Shack.
Shack?
Oh,
Tin
boy.
roof.
Love Shack.
I don't know if you want to visit a place called the Love Shack that is literally a shack built on the grounds of an abandoned state institution, probably out of the rummage trash that's still on the ground.
Well, I mean, it's 15 miles past the end of the
Yeah.
road. So it's out there somewhere.
It's out there.
Yeah, but what else is out there?
Oh, we know. You know. You know it's out there.
I don't know if you want to know.
By the way, for Jeff, since he asked an excellent journalistic question, the name Cropsey comes from the legendary boogeyman of Hudson Valley. Like it's an old folklore tale,
Oh, okay.
which would have been fantastic for a campfire tale.
That's weird.
Listen,
weird.
I'm telling you, I'm telling
What
everybody.
a cool subject matter. Something I would like to learn about.
Listen, I'm just
Folk
I'm just
tale.
telling everybody right now. If you want to go on a ride Look up hobo cities.
I don't care about the hobo city. Sorry.
Say that now until you go on that ride. Like, because no one wanted to ride It's a Small World till they got on and they're like, wow.
No, you still don't want to ride it. It's fucking terrible. Have you been on it?
I never would.
Because it's terrible.
You seem awfully interested in these hobo cities, Eli.
Well, it's crazy. Like, it's insane. And like, did you know that there are diseases that haven't been seen for hundreds of years are in these cities? Which is sad, but like crazy that they came back.
Like what?
Well, because they won't
Black
let people in
Plague.
to help them.
Like the Black Plague is like thriving in these places.
Because they won't let doctors in.
Yeah, I know, but it's just crazy. I don't know why this has such a hold on me,
No, I don't
It
either.
seems
but-
to, though.
but it does. Every couple episodes, I always come back. Some might even question, like, "Hey, Eli, where were you born? Hoboken, New Jersey."
Shut up. Shut up. All right.
Holy
Bye, everybody. I'm
fucking-
done.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.
God, no.
Hey, on that note, thanks
I
everybody.
can't even say Dave shut it down because
I'm not
I'm
in
he's
control.
got the
control
wheel.
now.
He's got the wheel.
But hey, everybody, thanks
The
for
call is coming from inside the house.
I do this all for a reason, baby. All for a reason. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of Campfire Tales during our Camp Wicked Wild season.
Woohoo!
We appreciate you learning all the fine things we were here to teach you tonight. You can check out our website, wickedwildweare.com. Check out our Twitter, Wicked Wild We Are. See what I did there, Dave?
Nailed it.
See what I did there?
You're the man.
There's fun merch and all that kind of fun stuff on there. Oh yeah, Dave's wearing a bunch of it. He's our model tonight, which I think is his day job.
Yes, my day job is being a model,
Yeah,
which is why I soon will be a displaced person.
that's now you just made it sad, and I don't care for that. I don't care for it. But hey, like I said, everybody prepare for the next 3 weeks. Remember, goat, horse, not regular demon.
Constipated demon.
And if you could give us a rating on whatever you're listening to us on, 5 stars, please. With glorious content like this, how can you give us anything less?
Because they don't read it based on this episode.
On Apple
but-
Podcast, if you could please give us some comment. Tell Jeff why him and I should go stay with Jamie's grandma and eat Italian food, then go look for Cropsey. Give us a good reason. We might do it. We just might do it. And then on that note, we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.